afternoon on this Friday, September 19th today. I'm Yemens. Let me read you your headlines. 2 Lebanese soldiers killed in a roadside bomb in the outskirts of Abseel, while 3 are wounded. At a ceremony to deliver 38 vehicles to the Lebanese police, U.S. Ambassador David Hale praises the unity and cooperation between Lebanese armed forces. And as the U.S. Senate approves President Obama's plan to train and equip Syrian rebels, French jets carry out their first airstrikes in Iraq. 2 Lebanese soldiers have been killed in a roadside bomb that targeted an army patrol unit in the northeastern region town of Abseel. The truck, which was transporting 7 soldiers, was attacked in Wadi Hmeid on the outskirts of the city and was hit by a missile fired from an area where jihadists are located. 2 soldiers, named Mohammed Dahir and Ali al-Kharat, died of wounds they sustained from the blast, while 3 others, identified as Mohammed Fadil, Yahya Mhaish and Mohammed al-Baghrini, were wounded. As said, residents transported the wounded soldiers to hospitals in the area, where 2 are now in stable condition. The 3rd was in critical condition and was transferred to another hospital. All 3 suffered head wounds along with various injuries to their lower bodies. In Baalbek, relatives of soldier Abbas Midlish, whom ISIS beheaded last month, briefly blocked a vital highway after reports surfaced that the army had detained several Syrians who were present during his execution. Midlesh's parents gathered dozens of their relatives and burned tires to block the entrance to the eastern city of Baalbek, demanding that authorities frame the Syrians rumored to have beheaded their son. Speaking to a local television station, Midlesh's father said the government should either serve the Syrian who allegedly killed his son with the death penalty or hand him over. A security source told the Daily Star that 3 Syrians arrested earlier this week in Baalbek were thought to have been involved in the beheading of Midlesh. ISIS, just to remind you, released a video on September 7th showing Midlesh's execution, the 2nd Lebanese soldier to be beheaded by Islamist militants after the killing of the 1st Sergeant Ali Sayed late in August. Prime Minister Tamam Salam has met with UN Special Coordinator for Lebanon, Derek Plumley, at the Grand Sarai. The 2 discussed preparations for the ministerial meeting with the International Support Group for Lebanon that will take place next week in New York over providing military support to the Lebanese army and assisting Lebanon in the issue over Syrian refugees. Speaking after the meeting, Plumley said the ministerial meeting was at the invitation of the United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. The ISGL was established last year to help Lebanon address the overwhelming presence of Syrian refugees and to provide support for the government and the army to combat security issues linked to the Syrian civil war. U.S. Ambassador to Lebanon David Hale is hailing the unity and cooperation between Lebanese security agencies, saying they would thwart any attempt to cause division. The internal security forces, along with the army and general security, have demonstrated bravery and courage in their mission to protect Lebanon's security and stability, Hale said during a ceremony to deliver 38 vehicles to the ISF at Baye. He praised the efforts exerted by the security agencies, pointing out that they have offered many sacrifices while seeking to sow instability and division to safeguard the country. Russia is offering to extend arms and logistics support to Lebanese security institutions to combat terrorism, according to Interior Minister Nuhad Mashnou. He said this during his official visit to Moscow. He met with Russian officials to discuss security cooperation, and he spoke after the meeting and said that Russian officials have offered to train Lebanese police officers at their National Police Academy on modern means to counter terrorism and organized crime. Mashnou also warned against the tense situation in Abseel and said that the border town, which hosts thousands of Syrian refugees, would pay the price of any future tensions between the Lebanese army and extremist militants. The minister said he has pleaded with MP Michel Aoun, head of the Free Patriotic Movement, without success to accept the establishment of camps for Syrian refugees. In the heat of an election campaign, Congress cleared the way for the U.S. military to train and equip Syrian rebels for a war against Islamic State militants, reluctant ratification of a new strategy that President Barack Obama outlined scarcely a week ago. The 78-22 Senate vote sent Obama legislation that also provides funding for the government after the end of the budget year on September 30th, eliminating any threat of a shutdown.
As part of the air campaign, France will join in strikes against ISIL targets in Iraq. And as one of our oldest and closest allies, France is a strong partner in our efforts against terrorism, and we're pleased that French and American service members will once again work together on behalf of our shared security and our shared values. More broadly, more than 40 countries, including Arab nations, have now offered assistance as part of this coalition. This includes support for Iraqi forces, strengthening the Iraqi government, providing humanitarian aid to Iraqi civilians, and doing their part in the fight against ISIL. The American forces that have been deployed to Iraq do not and will not have a combat mission. Their mission is to advise and assist our partners on the ground. As I told our troops yesterday, we can join with allies and partners to destroy ISIL without American troops fighting another ground war in the Middle East. I'm pleased that Congress, a majority of Democrats and a majority of Republicans in both the House and the Senate, have now voted to support a key element of our strategy, our plan to train and equip the opposition in Syria so they can help push back these terrorists. As I said last week, I believe that we're strongest as a nation when the President and Congress work together, and I want to thank leaders in Congress for the speed and seriousness with which they approach this urgent issue, in keeping with the bipartisanship that is the hallmark of American foreign policy at its best. With their barbaric murder of 2 Americans, these terrorists thought they could frighten us or intimidate us or cause us to shrink from the world, but today they're learning the same hard lesson of petty tyrants and terrorists who've gone before. As Americans, we do not give in to fear, and when you harm our citizens, when you threaten the United States, when you threaten our allies, it doesn't divide us, it unites us. We pull together, we stand together to defend this country that we love and to make sure justice is done.
French jets carried out their first airstrikes against Islamic State militants in Iraq, successfully destroying their target. President François Hollande announced this, vowing that more operations would follow. This morning at 9:40, our Rafale planes carried out a first strike against a logistics depot of the terrorist organization Daesh, he said, in northeastern Iraq. The objective was to hit and completely destroy, and it succeeded. He also used an alternative name for the Islamic State group. Daesh was the first time he pronounced this. It's the Arabic name as it is known here. And he said that other operations would continue in the coming days. Coming up next, have you ever heard of a black burger? Yes, it does exist. And no, it's not disgusting. Stay with us for the details. Welcome back. You're watching the 4:20 o'clock news on Future TV. 3 suicide car bombs detonated in the Shia Baghdad neighborhood of Khadimiyya, followed by 12 mortar rounds fired from outside the district, killing at least 23 people and wounding 56 more. Interior Ministry spokesman Saad Ma'an said on state television that security forces had started securing the area. A mortar round landed in the district, sources said, adding that gunfire was also heard. Bombs hit the capital on a near-daily basis, but coordinated attacks of this scale have been rare in the last few weeks. Mortar rounds have a short range compared to rockets, indicating the assailants fired from near the districts. And international airlines have suspended flights to Yemen's main airport for 24 hours due to weeks of clashes between rebels and Islamist fighters near the capital, according to authorities. The measure could be extended or reconsidered depending on the security situation, in a statement released by the official Saba news agency. The move follows fighting between Shia rebels known as Houthis or Ansarullah and Sunni Islamists backed by troops. Nearly 40 people were killed in violence just outside the capital yesterday. The clashes come as UN envoy Jamal bin Omar held talks in the rebel stronghold of Saada to try to bring an end to Yemen's political crisis. British Prime Minister David Cameron is pledging to expand devolutionary powers to the entire United Kingdom following the rejection of Scottish independence by voters. In return for staying in the Union, Scotland's voters have been promised significant, though somewhat unspecified, new powers by the British government, which had feared losing Scotland forever.
Good morning. The people of Scotland have spoken, and it is a clear result. They have kept our country of 4 nations together. And like millions of other people, I am delighted. As I said during the campaign, it would have broken my heart to see our United Kingdom come to an end. In no disputes, no reruns, we have heard the settled will of the Scottish people. Scotland voted for a stronger Scottish Parliament backed by the strength and security of the United Kingdom. And I want to congratulate the No campaign for that, for showing people that our nations really are better together. I also want to pay tribute to Yes Scotland for a well-fought campaign, and to say to all those who did vote for independence, we hear you. And I can announce today that Lord Smith of Kelvin, who so successfully led Glasgow's Commonwealth Games, has agreed to oversee the process to take forward these devolution commitments with powers over tax, spending and welfare, all agreed by November, and draft legislation published by January. Just as the people of Scotland will have more power over their affairs, so it follows that the people of England, Wales and Northern Ireland must have a bigger say over theirs. The rights of these voters need to be respected, preserved and enhanced. So just as Scotland will vote separately in the Scottish Parliament on their issues of tax, spending and welfare, so too England, as well as Wales and Northern Ireland, should be able to vote on these issues. And all this must take place in tandem with and at the same pace as the settlement for Scotland. Now we must look forward and turn this into the moment when everyone, whichever way they voted, comes together to build that better, brighter future for our entire United Kingdom. Thank you very much and good morning.
Black burgers, already an internet sensation before they even went on sale, were finally available to customers at Burger King Japan across the day. Burger King in Japan sold its first black burger back in 2012. The company, however, wants to take it up a notch, naming the burgers Kuro Diamond and Kuro Pearl, which means black diamond and black pearl, respectively. The two burgers have buns with bamboo charcoal powder mixed in to give them that charred look, beef patties with black pepper to darken it, and a black tar-like sauce, which is actually barbecue sauce with squid ink. It is not unusual to find black-colored food in Japan. Black seaweed and squid ink are common Japanese fares, and customers are saying they enjoy these. Fast food chains in Japan have a tendency to innovate, with Wendy's introducing the foie gras burger back in 2011, McDonald's Japan's Grand Canyon burger as part of the Big American series, and Burger King's Windows 7 Whopper, a monster with 7 patties, promoting the launch of the operating system. Forgive me for saying this, but I think they look good. This marks the end of our bulletin. Now for a reminder of our top story. 2 Lebanese soldiers killed in a roadside bomb in the outskirts of Arsel, while 3 are wounded. At a ceremony to deliver 38 vehicles to the Lebanese police, U.S. Ambassador David Hale praises the unity and cooperation between Lebanese security agencies. And as the U.S. Senate approves President Barack Obama's plan to train and equip Syrian rebels, first French jets carry out their air raids on Iraq. Those are your Friday headlines live on Future Television. I'm wishing you a happy weekend from me and all the newscast here. Yumna Nofad signing out.